And there are lawsuits out there with talc and titanium dioxide.
Oh yeah, I see that in the commercials. Yeah.
Yeah, it leads to ovarian cancer with talc, and
Well, I think women used to put it down there or something.
Yeah, there is ovarian cancer rates and lawsuits. Big brands like Johnson & Johnson, and there's also asbestos like contamination cases with like L'Oreal and all these big beauty brands that you don't really hear.
Yeah.
But like I said, Sephora uses a lot of Sephora brands
They have money.
talc and titanium dioxide, but like
all they have money. All we do is just pay it off.
But you don't hear these right in the news. If you search for it, then you will find it.
Yeah.
Welcome back to We Time Convo. I'm your host, Liza, and today I'm joined by our guest host, Hylan. Hi. We are talking about something that affects so many women, the rising rates of cancer in healthy women with no family history, and how everyday things from the products we use on our skin to even the type of stove in our homes might be playing a role. And before we jump in, a quick disclaimer, we are not licensed medical professionals. Everything shared today is based on personal research and experience. So please do your own research and consult professionals when needed.
Good morning, everybody. Hi, Hylan. Hello. Hylan's over here scaring me and Irene because everything has cancer. So before we dive into it, we are going to talk about just the high rise of cancer rates in women happening nowadays, specific
Young women.
young women. We're talking about lung cancer for women that don't smoke, ovarian cancer. We were just talking about
breast
powder.
cancer as well.
Yeah. And we were just talking about how a lot of powders, you said 99%
Of cosmetic powders
and have,
titanium dioxide or
Okay.
talc
which is
are carcinogenic,
Yeah.
especially when you breathe it in or consume. Yeah.
and is cancer causing.
Yes.
And so we actually just watched this brief bit on NBC News on YouTube, and they were also saying that gas stoves.
Yeah. So they identified that there could be various different factors that lead to the increase in lung cancer rates in young women who do not smoke. The doctor in that video basically said it most likely comes from environmental factors. Otherwise, why else, right?
Because she had no family history. Is that what he was saying? No family history. She's
Very healthy.
She exercises. Yeah.
Eats clean.
Yes.
He points out various different factors in the environment that could lead to the increase in lung cancer. Potential causes: 1, air pollution; 2, cosmetics; 3, aerosols; 4, gas stoves; and 5th is cleaning products.
And cosmetics is because of the
ingredients that people are breathing in when they apply powders. So if you look on California Prop 65 for titanium dioxide, which, like I mentioned, the other podcast, is one of the most prevalent ingredients, right? Along with talc. Talc and titanium dioxide have been linked to cancer. Titanium dioxide has been linked to lung cancer when you breathe it in. When you look at Prop 65, you'll see that it's the advice is very clear. Avoid using 1, sunscreens, aerosols that has titanium dioxide. You see a lot of these mineral spray sunscreen or mineral, they tout, and you'll see the labeling in the back of these. Sunscreens have titanium dioxide and also benzenes, right? And then talc is in everything from baby powders through Johnson & Johnson with all the lawsuits. They've changed that now. And then, you have talc and titanium dioxide in women's makeup. So what do women, and remember, these rates are increased in women and not men.
because they use makeup.
So you can really deduct, right? What are they doing more than men? So they're cooking more than men. They're using cosmetics more than men, and maybe they're cleaning more than men. Hence why the list is what it is.
Yeah. Wow. And by the way, if you guys are looking for toxic-free makeup, I know of a very good line. It's called Hylan Minerals. Check it out.
Yeah.
But it's very scary. So I actually had maybe about, I want to say 10, 15 years ago. By the way, I have no history in my family of cancer. Pretty healthy. I was a marathon runner back then. I was training for a marathon, and I had found out that I had thyroid cancer.
Whoa!
On one side of my thyroid. Luckily, it was very slow growing that they were able to just take it out and I didn't need any treatment. But I was shocked. I was like, because back then, the leading cause of cancer was if it was in your family history. And that's why your doctors always asked you. And then that's where they would test you more for it, but otherwise, if you marked no, it's not, then no, then there's no chance, right? So I was like, how did this happen? Like, it wasn't in my family. Like, it was actually found by chance because I happened to have like a lump there. And they were like, okay, well, it's because it's not in your family history. We doubt that it's cancerous. When they did the biopsy, they're like, yeah, it actually is cancerous.
You had no symptoms.
No symptoms.
You just found a lump.
I didn't even know it was there. I just by chance happened to switch doctors, and my new doctor was able to physically see it. Like, you have a lump there, right? Do you notice? I'm like,
what was it?
It was right here on the right side of my thyroid, like right under my neck.
Oh, wow.
But because he was an endo, he could see stuff like that. Nobody else noticed stuff like that but him, right? He's like, oh, don't worry about it. And yeah, it was something to worry about.
Yeah.
So it's not even in your family history. It's not even a leading factor anymore. Like, I just feel like in that, now that you mentioned that, women that aren't smoking, like, it could happen to anybody now.
Yeah. And I think that's the reason why I think I'm so passionate about health is that I think as a society, we're constantly sold a bunch of things mixed in with a bunch of chemicals that says that it's good for us or it'll help us in some way, and I think women need to be more aware of what they're using on a day-to-day basis. And I think a lot of people, right, especially lotions and creams and things like that, they think, oh, it's just external. It's not going to affect me. Or like makeup is just external. It's not going to affect me. You breathe it in, your skin absorbs everything into your bloodstream.
Yeah.
So, that's how, hormone creams work, right? You put it on. Estrogen cream works because it penetrates the skin. A lot of medicine gets delivered like transdermal. So this idea, and I think women, I would really encourage women to really pay attention to what they use on a daily basis. Everything from their cleaning products, their makeup, their sunscreen, to like their hairsprays. We really need to be cognizant of that.
Yeah. And people don't, like you said, people don't pay attention. They just, any product can say that they're natural. And, and
yes, there is a trend of what they call now greenwashing, right?
Yeah.
Do you slap on the label natural and, you get like, oh, like this is a natural product. It's the greenwashing. People who are health conscious but don't really pay attention to the ingredients label will just grab it and use it, right? Whereas, there are toxic ingredients in nature, and like toxic mushrooms, there are toxic, like talc is mineral, technically. Right. But guess what? Talc has been linked to lawsuits. Right. And I want to also raise the fact that in October, there's this article of Johnson & Johnson being sued for over $900 million because of their link to cancer and their use of talc powder in their products.
Even the foods we eat. So I have a friend who owns a farm out in like Salinas, and all his fruits and vegetables are labeled organic. And I just was, curious. I'm like, so how do you get certified to become organic? He's like, well, people come and they test your things and they look at how you grow things and then they certify you organic. And I'm like, well, how often do they come and do this? He's like, once. And this was like 20 years ago.
Wow.
So, you get certified once, right? What if you don't follow the same protocol? So anyone can be certified organic just once and then really not be organic. So should I grow my own fucking vegetables now? Like,
yeah, you should.
Because it's in the label, right? Everyone is like perceived to think like, okay, it's organic. Oh, it's natural. Oh, it's not going to do anything to me. But really, like, are you really paying attention?
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's very scary.
Yeah.
Because it's in everything. And then like now you can't even like use a gas stove because I don't have a gas stove, luckily.
Yeah.
But I've always been scared of like carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah.
You find families like dead because.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess, Irene, you mentioned that it's not.
Well, there's also leakage. When it comes to gas stove, they have found that actually gas stoves, even when it's off, can leak into your environment. And that can be very, very toxic when you're breathing it in and it's odorless.
Right.
So you don't know that you're breathing it in.
That is very scary. And then like, what if you just light a match?
Yeah.
Your house will just blow up.
Yeah. And like I think one of the things that I think personally scared me and like some of my friends when I shared it, like, is, the spray sunscreens, right? Like outside of the whole titanium dioxide thing and talc, whatever, there's an ingredient in a lot of common sunscreens called benzene. And it has been, and it's in majority of the sunscreens that you find at Target. which I think is the most common place people go to buy sunscreens, when they go to the beach and like during the summer and things like that. And it affects everything. A lot of these ingredients, one, not just increase your chances of getting cancer, right? It changes your hormones. So benzene has hormonal effects, especially, in men, right? It reduces testosterone and I think their carcinogenic effect is that it mimics estrogen. So if you think about it, right? A lot of these products, not just pesticide in our food and a lot of these chemicals in our food, but a lot of the chemicals that actually alter our hormones can lead to like other cancers like breast cancer and also like, erectile dysfunction in men.
That's crazy. And it's crazy because you go and buy sunscreen to avoid the sun, to avoid skin cancer, but like you're actually giving yourself cancer case. So it's like,
yeah.
Wow. And what is this called? Benzene?
Yeah. If you look at benzene as, and the hormones effect of benzene and where you can find benzene.
And what does that do in sunscreen? Like, is it something that is needed in sunscreen?
I have a Trader Joe's mineral.
Yeah, I had that,
But it only says 20%. They don't list the other ingredients.
Oh, let me see. Okay. So it says 20% zinc oxide.
I'll read you the AI overview of benzene. Benzene is a known carcinogen that has been found to contaminate some sunscreens, leading to voluntary recalls of specific products like Neutrogena and Aveeno. Okay. This contamination is not intentional, but results from the manufacturing process where benzene can be present in inactive ingredients like propellants. So it basically helps propel the product onto your skin. So it's very, very common. And they're trying to correct this. And on the label, you'll see that, they don't have this certain benzene. But if you dig deeper, a lot of chemists have warned this too, is that they'll use a different form of benzene.
That's crazy.
And that's crazy. And like I said, I would just caution, like a lot of these big brands that are like putting these labels like, skin friendly, natural, these family friendly products like Neutrogena and Aveeno that are really, what do they always tell you? It's dermatologist approved. That's like their slogan, right? Gentle and good for your skin, like helps moisturize and nourish your skin, all this stuff. But what do they use? You see these articles, right?
It's funny because I look at those words like natural, family friendly,
dermatologist approved, right? What Neutrogena's like famous line is dermatologist approved.
Yeah. It's like right on the front, but really you're just looking at the back of the things.
Okay, benzene isn't a hormone, but it's an industrial chemical that acts as an endocrine disruptor, interfering with the body's hormone systems, affecting fat, metabolism, growth hormones, and potentially causing thyroid issues, leading to impacts on reproduction, immunity, and increased cancer risk by mimicking or altering natural hormone signals, particularly at a low-level everyday exposure.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so more information on how it alters the hormones. Benzene can mimic or interfere with natural sex hormones, estrogen, androgens, and impact thyroid function. When it comes to metabolism and fat, it can disrupt fat storage and alter glucose lipid metabolism, affecting body composition. And when it comes to pituitary and growth, it can alter growth hormone secretion and interfere with treatments of growth hormone producing tumors.
And this is in a lot of sunscreens, you said.
Yes. Yeah. And so like I said, I went down this rabbit hole when I was like 18 or 19, just looking at makeup. And then that made me super aware of really digging deep onto everything we're sold, right? Because we rely on the FDA and think these big brands, must have research, must be safe for us, for them to get into big box stores. But at the end of the day, it's all marketing. It's all marketing.
Yeah.
So
and it's all sales.
So maybe we can see what products you use and
Well, I think I don't want to like propose any products, but I would propose like a way of looking and like lifestyle changes of looking at your ingredients label, right? I think one of the things that I recommend is really understanding every ingredient that goes into your food and your personal use products like lotions, sunscreens, makeup, like even like your cleaning products. And I think, with AI, you can do that pretty easily and really, really dig down in terms of like, what are the harms of these ingredients, maybe asking and really understanding I would say caution any products that you find are hard to pronounce is one, and then also products with a long list of chemicals, right? And we're only touching the surface of these common like ingredients that are known and have big lawsuits. There are other ingredients like preservatives and the many different forms of preservatives across and like across. Yeah. And then, and I went down another rabbit hole like recently on shampoos.
Yeah.
Most people don't understand that actually a lot of these shampoos also have really toxic like ingredients like ammonium and like, various different forms of ammonium that if you end up breathing in, guess what you do? There's like heat, water, when you take a shower, you end up breathing that in. Not only that, you're also absorbing it like right through your skin. Like I said, through your scalp. People don't understand that your skin is an organ and you can absorb a lot of these ingredients into your bloodstream. So think about it when you look at these ingredients. Would you like those ingredients
in your body?
Yeah. Yeah. I love when you come on because it really makes me think about things like that. And I don't because I'm busy thinking about other things, right? You really have to stop and think about.
And I work
in a shower or putting what's on your face.
And I like I said, I work on the other side of big businesses. And I know a lot of it is just driven by greed, profits. And a lot of it is just marketing.
Yeah.
Right. I would say there has to be an increased level of consumer skepticism when it comes to these brands. And it's because of lawsuits and skepticism that will help drive change what we get to buy in big box stores.
You also have those labels.
The warning. Yeah.
People ignore those warning labels. A lot of people,
ignore those. Like if you this is cancer.
And like, what about those benzenes and the talc in baby products?
Yeah.
Like they don't have a warning. Baby products, guess what? Johnson & Johnson baby powder that has talc, and I told you it's had hundreds of millions of dollars in lawsuits leading to cancer. It's very well known, and asbestos contamination. Most talc is contaminated with asbestos, and that's why there's these lawsuits happening. But when you look at the brand, right, you grow up thinking, oh, it's a baby product. It's gentle for your skin.
Yeah.
It's safe. Like, let me not choose the adult version. Let me choose the baby products because I know it's going to be gentle on my skin.
Yeah.
And it's going to be good and safe for my family.
I remember when my sister was a bit Heidi, Heidi, when I was little, and my mom would change her diaper and she would get the baby powder and go, and it would fly everywhere.
Yeah.
She puts it on her butt and I'm like,
thinking about it. There are lawsuits
Yeah.
linking these baby powders and women's powder, hygiene powder overall to ovarian cancer. There is data and science linking the use of these ingredients to, like, again, localized cancer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Dr. Ravone said to avoid, what was that people do, like douches and everything. Douches is like, you're inserting that into your vagina and it's going right in you. For what? I mean, your vagina naturally cleans itself. But like, again, like what you said, Hylan, it's the sell of it, right? People want to sell.
Yeah, and then these claims that these big brands have, like dermatologists approved, like Aveeno is always known, when you look at all the Aveeno commercials, and I'm only, saying a few names, but what do you see? Oh, it's like natural, like dermatologist approved, crafted for like sensitive skin, all this stuff, gentle. It's all marketing.
It's all gimmick.
And Johnson & Johnson too. What do you think about Johnson & Johnson baby products?
I'd like to know if the people that, like the CEO of Johnson & Johnson actually uses that stuff for their kids or their grandkids, right? Probably not.
No, they have very, very high disposable income, right? Do you think they're going to use like stuff in Target?
Yeah, that's
like us commoners.
That's like a whole new other world.
Yeah, you even hear like they don't even, their sweaters can cost thousands of dollars with these brands that you've never heard of.
Yeah.
Let alone, do you think that, and they have private chefs, that probably buy a lot of the food from very niche farms that, that we don't have access to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have access to products that we don't. People don't have access to. Plus, they have insider information too regarding their products.
Right.
A lot of these lawsuits are covered up. You don't hear them.
They have money.
You don't hear
pennies.
them.
It's pennies to them, right? Oh, just pay them off. It's nothing for us.
Really
Pay attention.
pay attention to your ingredients and really try to understand what you're putting in your body, ingredient by ingredient. Second, use AI if you don't want to dive deep into it. But also, like, AI is only gonna give you what you dig into. So really dig into like the toxicity of each ingredient if you can with AI to help you make better decisions. And third is have skepticism in a lot of these marketing and big brands you see at Target, Safeway, all your big box stores, and really understand that, profit is the main driver here. And most of these companies are owned by one or two or three like big companies. So majority of your products are really produced by 3 or 4 different companies.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm so glad you're back. It's been a while. Can we talk about your makeup line? Because I'm so excited.
Sure.
Okay, because I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. I've known that you've been wanting to do this. And I just bought a couple things or a few things and I just did an unboxing. We'll put it on the pictures on our Instagram. But I'm so excited because I'm at this age where I really think about what I put on my body and in my body and what I consume, right? So I was very excited when you talked about the idea, or you wanted to start a makeup line where everything was natural, like
Non-toxic.
everything. So tell me how this came into fruition. Like, what made you want to do this?
Yeah, so it started when I would say 18. So at that point I was wearing makeup for about 3 to 4 years. Like every teenager, I had acne and I wanted to look pretty. Like, there's this whole look maxing trend going on right now, like on social media. But I was already kind of observing that when I was a teen back in the days when, early 2000s. And I think it's, as you age, right, and as you mature, you really figure out that looks is really, really important. How you show up is really, really important. And I was using all this makeup to really transform myself. I was a nerd. So that's the background. I was a nerd. I got picked on a lot. And I think I kind of had this glow period where I realized, I can like use makeup to my advantage and like glow up and then, get what they call now like pretty privilege. I really saw a difference in how people treated me at school and,
From the way you look.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but, it kind of also dug this hole, right, where my skin started to break out more. And I started to really even though my social standing, like social circles, I feel like improved. But on the flip side is that I would get more insecure if I didn't wear makeup because the makeup had worsened my skin to the point that it would be red, inflamed. I was breaking out all the time. And then I quickly realized I went down this rabbit hole that I'm like, is my makeup making my skin worse, right? And again, this is early 2000s. There were some research, but I went down this rabbit hole and really dug deep into makeup, understanding like how the skin works, how the skin needs to breathe, what inhibits it from breathing and also accelerates aging and accelerates a lot of these skin problems. And so I really dug into it and I realized that there is this category makeup called mineral makeup that really removes most of the additives that you see in traditional like foundation and things that you can get at like Target or like Sephora, etc. So I went down this rabbit hole and I tried various different mineral makeup.
So is mineral makeup like more natural? Is that what?
So mineral makeup, yeah, it's the foundation of mineral makeup is that it's one less ingredients in the formula. So usually mineral makeup has like anywhere from like 3 to 6 or 7 ingredients, a lot less than traditional makeup. It usually the base of it is minerals. So that's why it's called mineral makeup. Minerals meaning like the minerals that stuff in the earth, stuff actually can be found in your food and vitamins. And it actually doesn't have like occlusive properties usually if you use the right minerals. But like again, these minerals have various properties. Some do actually clog your pores and can make your skin worse. Like anything in nature, right? There is toxic ingredients in nature and there are also like beneficial ingredients in nature. So I went down this rabbit hole. I tried a lot of these big mineral makeup brands, and I had still some disgruntled, unhappiness with like me trying their makeup. So there are certain, because my skin is also kind of sensitive. So I tried the main brand that, gets advertised all over. Back then it was all over TV, and also like,
I know what you're talking about. Is there oh, okay. I was thinking about MAC.
oh well, MAC is in a mineral.
Okay. Oh, Bare Minerals. Yes, I remember.
Bare Minerals is all over TV, right? Yeah. And I tried it, and I also learned more things about mineral makeup. Is that it actually started making me itch. Like it still has an ingredient in there that, scientifically so I started looking really closely at all these ingredients across even mineral makeup. And I realized, why, like, some of these ingredients are, even though they're touted, the products itself are touted as natural, some of these ingredients can aggravate and irritate your skin still. So, and then also the colors didn't really match with my Asian skin tone. I realized they're way too pink and is more suitable for Caucasian users' skin. And then that was one gripe, and the irritation is another gripe. And then also it had like this sheen I didn't also like. And then I went to other makeup brands that didn't have the sheen, but I also kind of felt like the color was off. And then so I said, how hard is it to create this, right? This was when I was 18, so I dove down this rabbit hole, and I was like, screw, I'm gonna do a DIY, like I'm a teenager, I was in college, in my dorm room, I bought like a bunch of supplies, and they were like this DIY thing. I'm like,
so did you do the lab? Yeah, no, I was gonna say, did you do the like a Walter White thing in your room?
I did. Yeah. So like, I don't think if I even realized this, but I did share with a friend at the time. My friend was like, I'm wearing my makeup, I made this. And then she was like, 19, I start switching, right? And then I did notice that my skin started getting better. Like I didn't break out as much. My irritation like reduced. Because I would have like whiteheads and like really like just unflattering acne.
Like inflamed skin, right? Like
it was red all over my nose and then down my chin. And then I would have like whiteheads on my forehead, on the side of my forehead, on my cheeks even, just like really bumpy, right? And then I showed my friend, and I was like, hey, look, I made my own makeup, right? And then she was like, oh my God, you could start a business. And I was like, being 18, I'm like, what the heck? I can't sell this, I made this in my dorm room. I'm not going to sell it. I'm just going to use it. I don't know how to scale this operations. But anyway, fast forward, I started, throughout the years, I would get lazy, obviously, and would always switch and like try, as I also got into the professional world, things are busy at work, but I also have like more disposable income. I would go back to like high-end brand at Sephora or like even Japanese makeup, high-end Japanese makeup like Shiseido and things like that, because I heard, they're good. So I always had this skepticism about my mineral makeup and then like how it compares to other brands. And so I always went back to my makeup because after about like 4 or 6 months of using a certain brand, I start having acne and skin irritation. And so I would go back to my makeup, and then I would get lazy and I would go to other like smaller mineral brands because I thought they would, they did okay and they did well. But again, I always had to have like certain things mixed in with it to like, or like certain ways to apply it for it to appear a certain way that I like. Yeah. And so I kind of saw there was like, I understood the gap in like beauty pretty well because I'm super picky and I'm one of the users looking for the solution. And then, I've been in corporate big tech for a while. And so I have like 15 years of like marketing experience where, I built, I don't know, hundreds of millions of dollars in pipeline for these companies. And I really see my potential to drive business for a company. And, like layoffs were happening as well in 2022. I got laid off in 2023, and that was kind of where my breaking point was like, and I actually did try to launch this in 2021 actually, but both my parents passed away in 2021, and that was super devastating. So it took me a year or so to like really like think things over, understand what's important to me, understand like what do I want to bring to the world, and also that could benefit me as well as like a person, my career, etc. As this whole shift in like the tech industry started to happen. And so in 2023, when I got laid off, I was like, screw it. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired of working for other people. I'm tired of building things for other people, only for them to, profit off of me and then discard me, right? When all my work is still there being used, right? Because, as the roles I've been, playing in these companies is I build their websites, I build all their, marketing funnels, sales funnels, and pipeline. And, after they don't feel like, oh, I'm abused anymore, they discard me.
Let you go. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so I started going down really, really dedicating in terms of research and development for the products. So I removed and addressed all those, things that I didn't really like from conventional makeup and also mineral makeup. The color issue, the adhesion, basically the ease of use with mineral makeup, and also the coloring. So, and then also removing a lot of the irritating ingredients that are traditionally found in mineral makeup. So mineral makeup is already like the most basic form of makeup that you can get, and removing some of these ingredients actually is really difficult because some of these ingredients play a role in terms of adhesion, color payoff, and coverage. But I was able to find a way to achieve all that without all the toxic stuff, toxic ingredients that, has been recognized by different organizations that are like carcinogenic. And women are using this on a daily basis, and we can go, more in depth on like the issues of it. But biggest issue is like lung cancer, like titanium dioxide, which is a common ingredient.
Is that deodorant?
No, deodorant is aluminum.
Okay.
Titanium dioxide is a very, very common additive in makeup. And if you pay attention to the news, they said, overall, a lot of the other cancer and health has like really gotten better, right? But there is a surprising increase in lung cancer in young women. And if you look up titanium dioxide, it's found in almost 99% of makeup, including talc. Talc and titanium dioxide are super toxic. Talc because of the asbestos contamination. Asbestos is a class 1 carcinogen. And then titanium dioxide is also linked to lung cancer when you breathe it in. And guess what's in your powder? Women's powder.
And they put that on their face.
And you breathe it in every day. And then it's also in other forms. It's also used in food. The EU's already banned it in food. They were looking to ban it in makeup as well, but obviously it's so saturated in the cosmetic industry, it's going to be really hard to regulate, and also it'll hurt businesses. So that's my perspective of it. And like I said, if you go look on California Prop, I think it's 65, it's also very spelled out, avoid using titanium dioxide in cosmetic or sunscreen. Like there's spray sunscreen that uses titanium dioxide. There's a lot of like powders and things like that. But what it does, the benefits it gives in cosmetic is that coverage, right? That's why people use it, coverage and sunscreen. So a lot of the companies that you see, Mineral Say Skin, is titanium dioxide base or zinc base. So we remove titanium dioxide completely. And like I said, it's on the production of mineral makeup. There is like 1 or 2 companies that out there that doesn't use titanium dioxide, but there's no coverage. It can't cover your flaws, right? And so I figured out a way to basically formulate a foundation that provides the coverage of traditional like titanium dioxide makeup
without
it.
Titanium.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah. And so I personally believe it's like an innovation in a kind of outdated industry and a toxic industry, right? Most women don't pay attention to the ingredients in their makeup. And then because of that, I think a lot of consumers, right, buy these makeup without understanding the implications on their health. And so I want to change that. So
now I want to go home and like look at all my makeup, all my daughter's makeup, and just like throw it away, right?
Talc and titanium dioxide, they're in 99% of powders. Talc and titanium dioxide. And there are lawsuits out there with talc and titanium dioxide.
Oh yeah, I see that in the commercials. Yeah.
Yeah, it leads to ovarian cancer with talc, and
Well, I think women used to put it down there or something.
Yeah, there is ovarian cancer rates and lawsuits to like big brands like Johnson & Johnson, and there's also asbestos like contamination cases with like L'Oreal and all these big beauty brands that you don't really hear. But like I said, Sephora uses a lot of Sephora brands uses.
They have money.
Talc and titanium dioxide, but like
so all they have money. All they do is just pay it off.
But you don't hear these right in the news. If you search for it, you will find it.
Yeah.
That's very concerning. But
Yeah.
I'm just very impressed with your work and what you do and just your passion for just natural makeup and beauty.
Yeah, and I think the background on that, right, is that both my parents, like I said, I mentioned, died passed away in 2021. My dad had cancer twice when I was in high school, and then my mom had also autoimmune disease, lupus, right? So I was educated, I think, very early on to also understand like the implications of food, things you use, like personal consumer items and how they're, your body absorbs them and things like that. And I learned very quickly too, because I also had my struggles with health, not just my skin, but, like I had asthma growing up, and a lot of various different things that I realized like change, and I had improvements in my health and my looks, etc., when I changed my lifestyle and the products I use.
Yeah. That's amazing. And by the way, I've seen you without makeup. You're still beautiful, just so you know. But I can understand how makeup just kind of gives you that glow.
Right.
And I'm just very excited to try your products. Like, I'm super excited to put it on for the event that I'm going today.
Okay.
And I love that your makeup also is good for people with dark skin, like Asian skin, because they all have different skin tones.
Right.
And there are makeup products out there that say that they are specifically for different like types of skin tones, but they still don't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very, very excited to try your stuff. And yeah, I will be posting that. But
Thank you.
thank you for the work that you do, and I hope the best for you and your business, and I know it's going to grow, and I'm just very excited to finally be able to tell people, like, oh, Hylan Mineral. So you guys check it out. What's your Instagram?
We don't post on Instagram.
What's your TikTok? Is TikTok?
Like I said, we've been getting orders without social media presence at all. So I've posted 0.
What's your website?
HylanMinerals.com. HylanMinerals.com.
And by the way, any other products besides Hylan Minerals that we mentioned, we are not sponsored by. So just so you know, and we're not licensed professionals, but Hylan is professional in my eyes, and I trust everything that she says. But thank you for joining us. I'm so happy that you're here again. We've been you've been so busy. We've been wanting you to come back, and I was so happy that you said that you were able to come in today. I was like, yay! But thank you, Hylan.
Thank you.